Royal Rebounds TV with Calvin and Barry. Just two crazy fans of the Sacramento Kings, and they sharing their opinion. So be sure that you subscribe. It's for the fans, by the fans. Whether you chilling on the couch or wilding in the stand. For laid back conversations about the Kings, subscribe here. Staying down until we come up thinking this gon' be our year. We're here, drinking beer, talking about the Kings. Be sure you subscribe so you can hear that bell ring. Yeah.
What up, Kings fans? Welcome back to Royal Rebounds, the Sacramento Kings YouTube channel for fans by fans. Unfortunately, the Kings lose tonight, 125-95 to the New Orleans Pelicans. Brandon Ingram goes for his 9th 30-point game of the season. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to smash that like button down below. And if you would like to join the Royal family with Calvin and I, make sure you hit that subscribe button before the shot clock expires.
Kings would be a pretty good team if they only had to play 2 quarters. I mean, they'd be a better team if they only had to play 2 quarters.
They were still down at halftime, man.
By 4. They'd be a much better team. But add one more thing to the list of inevitable things in life: death, taxes, and the Kings blowing the 3rd quarter.
I saw your tweet about that. If you're listening via your favorite podcast platform, we would appreciate a 5-star rating. And if you would like to be a part of the show, you can check us out on YouTube after every single Kings game. We are live. We'll be right back with your Kings Nightcap. What's up, guys? Welcome back here. Sorry,
nice.
You caught me
mid-gulp there. That was good.
Behind the scenes there. I'm trying to get the energy up for this podcast, Calvin. The losses just keep coming for Sacramento. We got 18 games left, and the Kings are unfortunately 5 games back in the loss column from that last play-in spot. They gotta
I don't
win.
think we have to talk about the play-in anymore. I really don't.
I mean, okay, so I was feeling the same way. And as many of you probably see in the description, I wrote, this season is officially over. However, I was watching Domas's interview after the game, and he said, it's really up to us. He said, we play the Spurs tomorrow, we play the Pelicans in a week or so we can easily get this game back, but we got to start doing something now. But yeah, Kings suck.
Well, I mean, he's right. It is all up to them, but what makes anyone believe that this team's going to come out for the rest of the way, these last, whatever, it's 18, 17 games?
18.
And actually play defense? Like, that. Yeah. How is it going to change that much in that short amount of time? Not to mention, the schedule is brutal. I know everybody's looking at it. After this game against San Antonio, there's very few games that you are going to think the Kings actually stand a good chance of winning here, even if they play well.
Yeah.
So he's right that it is up to them, but I have no faith that anything is going to change between now and the end of the season.
What's up to everybody in the chat? I see you guys in there. Fred, Gothen, Matthew, Mike, welcome. Jay Drew, welcome everyone. I am drinking a flat, what is this, a Modelo? Just trying to finish up the end of the keg. If you guys would like to contribute to us refilling the Royal Rebounds keg, hit us with a super chat down below. We're always happy to take donations for beer. It's funny. I wish you could see my notes for this game. I'm like, Kings are playing well. Kings are making lots of threes early. Everything's looking good. They're communicating. They're playing well. DiVincenzo is playing well. The team looks unified. And then all of a sudden, the second half, my notes are just like, F this. This sucks. 12-1 run by the Pelicans, 13-5 run. Ingram, 30 points.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, even though they played well in the first quarter, they were still down 4 and gave up 65 points.
Yeah.
Like, this team just they have to play really good offensively to beat bad teams, and they have to play near perfect offensive games to beat good teams, or to even have a chance to beat good teams. So if you're going to allow 60% shooting from the field on a nightly basis, you're not going to win very many games. I don't care how many points you average offensively.
So the Pelicans shot 59.1% this game, and this is surprisingly the best shooting night of any team against the Kings this season.
They've been very close to
I thought that was
60%
wild.
a few times.
Yeah. I think this was like a tweet by Jason Ross after the game or something like that.
I'd like to see how many games they've allowed over 50% shooting from the field.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Kings fell apart in the third quarter. They shot less. I think they shot like 28% in the third quarter. They scored 61 points in the first half, and the Kings only score 34 points in the entire second half of basketball. Horrible end of this game. I was so excited. Like I said, the Kings were 5 of 7 from three-point range in the first quarter, including 3 by Harrison Barnes. And then, what did they finish the game with? 22% from three-point range, 8 of 35. So only made 8 threes through the rest of the game.
And they made 5 of them in the first quarter.
Three. 3 of 28 through the rest of the game, which is absolutely horrible. I also saw Sabonis get hit in the eye. And I'm like, oh, great, here we go again. Another guy getting hit in the eye. Rashawn Holmes missed this game again with some back soreness. However, he seemed to be in a good mood on the bench. I saw him looking at the camera.
I'd be a good mood if I didn't have to be on the court during that ass whooping.
I saw him, talking to teammates, congratulating people for good plays, stuff like that. So he does seem to be engaged. I don't think this is him sitting out on purpose, is what I'm saying.
No, I mean, I'm not going to put that on him by saying he's sitting out on purpose. It is worrisome to me, though. I mean, it's the exact same thing as the De'Aaron Fox ankle injury. It's worrisome from both sides, right? Like, if it's an actual injury that he can't seem to get past, and lower back, it can be a really bad issue, ask Michael Porter Jr., then that's cause for concern first and foremost. And if it's the other way around and that he just decides before the game, like, I'm only going to play 12 minutes tonight, it's not worth it, that's really worrisome also. Again, I'm not saying that that's the case, but it just feels a lot like the De'Aaron Fox ankle situation for a lot of reasons. So,
yeah, it's weird. Did you see the arena go dark there at the end of it was like the end of the second quarter. They went to timeout. I'm not a super conspiracy theorist guy. However, the Kings were winning up into that point.
You're not a super conspiracy theorist guy?
No, I'm not superstitious.
I'm a little frozen envelope is not
I'm a little stitious.
Does nothing for you.
Oh, well, that's not a conspiracy theory. That's fact.
Exactly. There we go.
But all I'm saying is the Kings were winning up until that point. The arena goes dark, it goes timeout, and the Kings can't make a bucket for the entire rest of the game.
Yeah. Just a bad coincidence.
What'd they do to the basket?
Coincidence.
They turned the magnets on or something? Unreal. I'm just making excuses here. Another horrible officiating game, but none of that matters if you don't make shots. None of that matters. The Kings shot horrible in this game. Like I said, they were 22.9% from three-point range in this game, 39% from the field, and this is actually having a hot start to the game and scoring 61 points in the first half. They just fell apart. 17 points for De'Aaron Fox at halftime, 15 for HB, 10 for Sabonis, and 24 for Brandon Ingram, who actually had a slow second half for himself, but he killed it. He killed us.
He did.
Absolutely.
Get ready for all you're going to see on social media for the next couple of days is how the Kings need to acquire Brandon Ingram in one way or another.
Deuce Mason was right. He wanted to get him. I want to get him too. I mean, I don't know if he's available, but
I don't know if you can say that they're right. Like putting Brandon Ingram on this team again, how much does it actually change them? How many more wins do the Kings have if they trade for Brandon Ingram at the deadline instead of Sabonis?
Yeah. Let's get into your keys of the game here, and then we'll look at the box score.
Keys to the game: guard the three, fail. Talk on defense. I mean, it's debatable, but overall, I'd probably not give them a passing grade on that. And then attack mentality from the beginning. They came out, as we have already documented, really, really hot, looking good, and then it just fizzled away after that.
Yeah.
So you got to play 48 minutes.
There were so many times in this game, especially in the second half, where Pelicans could just get to the basket at ease. Either they were getting to the basket or they had a wide open three, and the Kings had to work for every single shot. And even when they were open, they were unfortunately missing shots. But, you you just looked at the Kings defense. I thought that they played pretty good defense in the first half, even though they gave up 65 points, the effort, the energy was there. And then the second half, and especially in the fourth quarter, it's hard once you see the lead start to gain and build on you. You are kind of like, okay, here, we got to make a shot. Then they get another steal, easy layup, stuff like that starts to build on you. But the defense just completely disappeared in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and then they're just trying to, hoist threes to get themselves back in the game, and nobody could hit a three. So it's just a whole list of problems once again. I mean, Najee Marshall, who expected that guy to come off the bench? 17 points, I think, tonight. Shooting
who is
19% from three on the season, goes 2 for 4 from three today. They couldn't stop him in the second half.
I didn't even know who that was, honestly. I'm like, who is this? Kendall Marshall's back? What is this guy? All right, Cal, let's dive here into the box score. I know you guys don't want to look at this because it's pretty ugly, but hey, Fox had 25, so I mean.
That's true. Fox, 25 points, only 3 assists tonight after back-to-back 10-assist games, 2 turnovers. He shot 50% from the field, 9 of 18, only 1 of 6 from 3, though, as the Kings as a team were brutally bad from 3 in this one. Harrison Barnes, 19 points, 6 of 11 shooting, 4 rebounds, and Sabonis, 15, 14, and 7. These are becoming very consistent and expected numbers from him. He needs to score more. I mean, you can say that for a lot of players on this team, but Sabonis and Fox have got to be 20-point scorers every night for this team to have a chance, given how bad they are defensively. And then Jeremy Lamb, slight bright spot off the bench, 12 points, 5 of 10 shooting. DiVincenzo added 7 off the bench as well. And, man, if we go down here to the Pelicans box score,
the starters killed
now we're looking like a good box score. All 5 starters in double figures, 17 for Najee Marshall off the bench, 33 for Brandon Ingram, 15 of 19 shooting, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. I mean, he had wide open shots tonight, but he also hit shots where he was just draped with somebody all over him. And one there in the fourth quarter with Fox guarding him. That was good defense. I mean, say what you want. It was
not a foul.
Say what you want. That was good defense, and he hit a really tough shot because that's what big-time players do. Valanciunas, another double-double, 17 and 14. And, yeah, it's 59% shooting, 38% from 3, and 83% at the foul line. The Kings missed a bunch of free throws today, too.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to bring up next. I love the aggressiveness for Sacramento getting the line. 25 free throws for them tonight, but they only shot 68%. They actually doubled up the Pelicans in free throw attempts tonight, which is a recipe for success. But when you don't shoot well, when you get out-rebounded, things like that definitely don't help. I was happy with their turnovers, too. Only 11 turnovers tonight. I really like that. But like I said, you got to make shots. It's crazy, man. The Pelicans had more defensive rebounds than the Kings had total rebounds in this game. Mm-hmm. And the Kings had 12.
Well, that's what happens when you brick all the time.
Yeah, the Kings
there's
had
way more opportunities.
Offensive rebounds in this game. It's crazy. What's up, Nikki? How are you? Yeah, it's wild. So, Calvin, are you wanna crown a king of this game?
Yeah, Brandon Ingram. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious, right?
That's an easy one. That was an easy one. I was working on all my jokes in the first half. I'm like, the Kings showed the Pelicans who the real smoothie king is and all this. And, like, how can they name a stadium after our team? Like, should we name our stadium the Golden Pelican or, like the Smoothie Pelican or something like that? Like, but they don't sound as good when you get beat by 30.
No, they don't sound as good. And now Arco Arena's getting demolished, and, man, it's just like –
yeah.
That hits hard right now.
Speaking of which, I wanted to talk to you about that. I know we're going to be in town on Friday the 18th for Kings Celtics. They're doing an Arco party the next day, Saturday. Yeah, thinking about going to that. It's right by the airport.
Got to talk to my day job about that.
Yeah.
To be determined.
I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to try and go. And it's right by the airport, too.
Yeah.
Maybe take the red eye back on Saturday. Who knows? Oh, man. Guys, make me feel better. Send me some love. Send me some good messages in the chat. I feel like crushed by this game. Man, I was so happy. They just, like, I don't even want to talk about it, but I was like thinking maybe Alvin Gentry is the right guy for this team. I'm like, he's an experienced coach. They're talking about him walking around New Orleans today, and everybody's like, wow, Gentry's back. Wow, we love what you did with the team. We respect you. And I'm like, that's what we've been talking about, right? Is the Kings need a well-respected coach. It's been in the league for a while that players like to play with. We want to play up-tempo basketball. These are all things that Alvin does.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that in the next section. Kind of an embarrassing sponsor name.
No, the Smoothie King. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than Sleep Train Arena.
I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of arenas that I think the name doesn't really do much for me. Like, I mean, Boston, why did you change from the Garden? Like, that's one of the most iconic. Same thing with Staples Center, you know? It's
Captain Obvious for the win.
Captain Obvious always for the win.
Yeah, I think I'm always going to call it Staples Center, even though it's
Right?
Crypto.com Arena. Just like Arco is always going to be Arco. Even when it's no longer Arco, it will still be Arco. Funny story about Arco. My mom, who's actually a landscape architect in Sacramento, designed the parking lot at Arco Arena. We still got lost after the games trying to find our car. Just so you know. I mean, it happens to everybody.
It's a lot different when you're on the ground instead of looking at it from a giant model or a tiny model, right? You know?
Yeah.
It's like in Zoolander where it's like, how are they going to fit in the
Oh, yeah, we needed an aerial view. Anything else that stood out to you in this game, Cal? I know some people want to talk about Davion Mitchell. I thought he had a couple good plays in this game, but not many. Unfortunately, it doesn't show in the box score. Only 4 points for him, a minus 19 for the night. And it was interesting seeing Fox guard Brandon Ingram basically the whole game because I thought he did a good job. Brandon Ingram is he's taller, and he's just shooting right over him.
No, I did. I mean, I thought Fox, he wasn't great the entire game, but he gave good effort for, a good portion of it. And like you said, he made shots difficult for Brandon Ingram at times. But yeah, he's given up a lot of height to that guy, a lot of length for Brandon Ingram, who can get that shot off over him, even if he's right there defending him, and he's just a good player. But, for me, like, I want to see De'Aaron Fox take that challenge. If he's going to be the player that this team needs him to be and everybody expects him to be, then, yeah, I mean, he should be guarding the other team's best player on a nightly basis, given the matchup or whatever.
Yep. Thank you, Asha. We appreciate your super sticker there.
Always.
That makes me feel a little bit better, but not quite. I mean, it helps. I just need the Kings to get better, man. I was thinking
Pornhub Center, Dennis. Is that an actual arena somewhere that I don't know about?
No, they were saying the Smoothie King sounds like a porn category.
Oh, okay. I missed that one.
I was thinking about it today. It's crazy, man. The Kings have basically this playoff list streak has lasted half of my life, Calvin. Half of our lives.
Yeah, almost.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Shout out to all you guys, real Kings fans out there that are sticking with this team. It's going to get better, guys. It really will get better. Oh, shout out to Vinny Squatch running across the screen there. It will get better, and it'll be so sweet when we actually have a good team. And I think it's coming. I talked to a bunch of guys in the Kings organization over the past week. Everybody's positive, not so much about this season, but just in the fact that moving forward, the Kings are doing things that they haven't done in a long time. They just acquired an all-star. They haven't done that since they got, Chris Webber. So I think they have a competent front office. We have all of our draft picks. We don't have any bad contracts at this point. Positives are coming. I just don't see it this season.
Yeah, I mean, until they fix their defensive deficiencies, I can't talk about this team improving. Like it's just that simple. That's what's holding them back. I mean, you can talk all you want about coaching and scheme and style of play offensively, canceling out the other team's momentum, all this stuff, but defense is about effort and engagement, and that's on the players. So until something changes in that regard, this team is just going to continue to be a lottery team that is there won't be the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
but they'll be somewhere in the 5 to 10 overall pick every year.
Seems to be par for the course at this point.
Yep.
Bruce, we're not throwing any shade at Alvin Gentry. We think he's done a wonderful job. He's put in a really rough position. And if you were listening 5 or 10 minutes ago, I was just talking about how I thought Gentry might have been the right guy for this team.
I actually think people are putting too much blame on Alvin Gentry for the reason that I just mentioned. This team sucks on defense. That's just plain and simple. And yes, coaching is a part of defense. Don't get me wrong. That, it does play a role. But defense the greatest defenders in the world, in the NBA, they don't need motivation from a coach. They don't need X's and O's from a coach.
Yeah.
They have this willpower and desire that is greater than anybody else's to say, I'm going to stop you. That's what it takes to be a really, really good defender. If you have the athletic ability and the quickness and speed like somebody that De'Aaron Fox is, then you can be a better defender. But you have to have the desire to want to play defense and stop somebody. And coaches are, especially at this level, can only do so much about that.
And you need time to develop a system. You can't just join in middle of a season, take over the reins, and then expect everything to be well. Then you trade half of your team away and you bring in a bunch of new guys. You know, I see what you're saying here in the comments, Mike. They just don't rotate on defense. Yeah, I mean, they don't rotate on defense because they're playing with a bunch of guys they've never played with before. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if these guys have all practiced together less than a handful of times with all the games and everything that's going on. Like, every team runs a different rotation, a different scheme. You brought in 6 new players from 2 different teams, or actually 3 different teams, right? Pelicans, Bucks, and Indiana. So it's going to take time. I like the players they brought in. This is not their year. But
And Goth and I hear you. Gentry has no system. Again, you can say that all you want, but that doesn't make any difference on defense. Not having an offensive system means nothing about stopping the other team. It just doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're all just a little emotionally wounded here in this Sacramento Kings camp. We all want to win. We don't know what it's going to be, if it's changing coaches, players, systems, owners, front office. We're all confused because it's been so long since we won, right? So there's not really a formula or a plan to follow at this point. It's just like, we want better. We want something better. I don't want to keep throwing my money towards this team that continues to lose games. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to continue to do that because I guess I'm an idiot, or I just love this team. I'm a loyal person, but they need to get better. They really do. Captain Obvious, these 12-man rotations suck.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they need to have more consistency, but again, look at the big picture here. This team started the season with Luke Walton as head coach. He basically said Marvin Bagley's not a part of this team, said that they have 13 guys that they feel like they could play on any given night. That's that was their plan going into this season, and Alvin Gentry was a part of that coaching staff. So then he takes over. He decides to tweak the lineup a little bit because it wasn't working while Luke Walton was there. They got off to a horrible start. He makes some changes. They look a little bit better for brief periods of time. Then the trade deadline gets here, and they completely swap out a ton of players and add 6 new guys to this roster. So then you have to start all over again building your lineups. I'm not saying that he is void of all blame here in terms of Alvin Gentry, but they started the year as a mixed hodgepodge group of players, and they still are. They might have better players now than when they started the season, but they're still getting used to each other, both from a coaching standpoint and a playing standpoint. So that's the world that we live in with Sacramento. And until we get through this next off season and they have a full training camp, they get a real coach that we expect to be the coach for the future, all that stuff is going to continue.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that a little bit more here in the next section. Anything else you want to talk about in this game, Calvin? How about Trey Lyles? He played out of his mind in the last game. I think a lot of people got their hopes up for what to expect from him 20 minutes tonight. I know he didn't play in the fourth quarter. Only 4 points for him. He wasn't in foul trouble. You know,
look, it's exactly what I said after the Oklahoma City game. He had a great game, and give him credit. But it was a fantastic matchup for him.
Yep.
And he's not going to score 20 points a night. Like, he's never been that guy. Even in college, he was not that guy. So to expect that of him is just ridiculous, first of all. And you're living in an alternate reality, which maybe Kings fans would be better off if we did that.
I mean, I might be cool living in the metaverse where the Kings are a good team. Maybe that'll happen one day. Who knows? I got to give another shout out to my guy HB, a.k.a. the Black Falcon. Apparently that's his nickname this season, but I'm running with it. I love it when he's aggressive, Calvin. I love it when he's taking shots. Like we've seen him this season. Maybe disappear is what we've used in the past, but maybe it's not disappear. Maybe it's allow other guys more opportunities. But I really like it when he takes it upon himself and he says, I need to get to the basket. I need to shoot this many shots. We saw it again tonight. 3 of 6 from three-point range, 6 of 11 from the field. That's basically what he does, 19 points. I thought HB had a great game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you would have liked for him to finish the game as strong as he started it. I mean, you would have liked for all the Kings players to have finished the game the way as strong as they started it. But yeah, I mean, I'm never going to complain if Harrison Barnes ends up with 19 points and 5 to 7 rebounds, and is shooting 50% or better from three and really well at the foul line. Like he did exactly what he needs to do. Yeah. The problem was Justin Holiday and Trey Lyles combined for 9 points.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the starting lineup for the Pelicans, I mean, I'd have to do some quick math here, which I'm not going to do, but they blew that away, right? Like,
yeah, the Pelicans, they played really well. What is that? 30 points by those two. Then they had 61, so that they had
it's a lot.
94 points.
It's a lot.
94 points from the starters. That's wild. That really is. So you're still happy with Holiday starting?
Well, I mean, I just don't really know what you would expect to start anybody else other than him. Like, is DiVincenzo going to score 14 a game? He hasn't really shown me that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Lamb's probably been the most consistent scorer out of those new, wing or guard players that they've gotten. So you could start him, but again, I hate to just keep coming back to this. You still have to stop the other team, though. They could score 120 points every night, and they would still probably lose a handful of those games.
Yeah.
Because they don't stop anybody.
I think it's time to put DiVincenzo in the starting lineup. And
I'm not complaining about that, although that continues to feed into what everybody's saying about how the rotations and the lineups constantly changing and all that stuff. But at this point, I think you're done with I think we're done talking about the play-in tournament and the postseason. So maybe now it is time to just say, hey, it's all about next season. We got to take a inventory of what we've got and plan for the future, kind of like Monty alluded to a little bit at the trade deadline anyway. So, yeah, go ahead, start DiVincenzo.
On that note, if you're a drinker and you need to break the seal, here is your chance. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into your Sacramento Kings with Around the Crown.